I'm especially excited to be here to talk about the things that we're talking about this morning, the flood mitigation, the technology. I've lived in this area almost 20 years and worked with what was the Ellicott City Business Association to try and find a common mission amongst all the different groups here in the historic district and rally around things like flooding, things like Main Street and the historic district. So I'm glad to see so much progress in these first few months of my term in the county executives. Just before I talk a little bit about the storm mitigation, the flood mitigation, I just want to mention something about the technology. How honestly cool this is. I mean, this is an historic area going back almost 250 years, and we're going to be celebrating a 250th anniversary here in not too long, about 7 years, I believe, Ed? Yeah?
That's correct.
Exactly, and we learned that it's called a sesquicentennial, so keep your ears open for plans for the sesquicentennial here in Howard, in the historic district. But the marrying of the historic with the future, technology, it just makes this area so much more vibrant. And I agree, I think, with what Chris Merton is saying, what the county executive is working on to encourage business, encourage visiting here in the historic district. We're going to see an improvement of that for this effort. I, on the other hand, have an unlimited access data plan, but I can't get a signal in parts of the historic district. So I'm thrilled to be able to access the internet while I'm sitting at my favorite coffee spot down the street. But we mentioned the flood working group, and the executive and I met. We weren't even sworn in yet. Actually, we met over breakfast and talked about what can we do here in the historic district. And at the same time, we said we need to take action. We need to find a group that will focus on doing things to improve the flood situation here in the historic district. And pretty much from that point, the work group was born. And over the subsequent months, after things sort of got settled after the swearing in, we started talking about the practical nature of it. So now, this group is a great example of the partnership between government, residents here in the historic district, business owners, and property owners, all of which are participating together in this effort. They're meeting monthly. They're right now in kind of the learning phase. They're getting briefings from various parts of the county government, learning about the history of flooding, learning about opportunities to improve and mitigate flooding. So all that's going on as we speak. And we're coming up to a point where this group is going to be looking at very specific projects. Their purpose is to kind of look at the inventory of opportunities, help prioritize them, to identify opportunities to engage the rest of the residents and business owners in the process, and to get the whole community around what we can do here to mitigate flooding. One of the first things that we're doing is a group called Restoring the Environment and Developing Youth, called READY. The executive has found some funds and provided to READY to take specific action to work on cleaning and clearing the channels here in the historic district. Very simple, very straightforward, and working with the residents here, it's going to be done starting next month, and will continue. A much larger project in the same vein is maintaining and restoring the channels here. Now, I know we both have gone on the tour walking through and under buildings and through the channels. There's a lot of work to be done. This is a long-term project over many years that will address specifically the areas that need repair, some areas that just need straight maintenance, but a lot of money is going to go to that. And I appreciate that the executive has maintained the $2.5 million in the budget and is committed to investing in these projects that we've outlined here for year one over, again, a many-year phase. So what you can see is a commitment that the executive and I will show over the next few years to getting things done here. And through this group and through the great work of folks like Mark DeLuca and his team, Jim Caldwell and your team, that are every day kind of looking at how can we make things better here in the historic district. So I'll just leave it at that. There's so much more to talk about and so much exciting stuff going on here. I'll just say before you leave here, you can walk up the 66 steps, and I know that because Jim told me. I wasn't brave enough to walk it up this morning when it's still pretty hot. But join me at the Historic Society afterward. They're going to be offering refreshments, which you're going to need after walking up the stairs in this heat. But and take a look at the museum that's just right at the top of the stairs. So I thank you all. For those of you here, there are many members of the flood work group here as well. Thank you for the work you've done already and the work that you're going to be doing over these next several months. And I look forward to more exciting announcements here over the next few years.